What would I tell myself as a younger rider, particularly if I was a beginning rider? What is the distillation of all the 57 years of riding experience I've gained that I would want to tell someone who's just beginning to ride motorcycles? Well, the first thing I would say is, don't sell a motorcycle you love. Many of us are in a situation where in order to have another motorcycle, you got to get rid of the one you currently have. In the long run, that's a mistake. You're going to regret that. Everybody, as they get older, looks back on their first or second motorcycle and says, man, I wish I wouldn't have sold that bike. I'd really like to have it today. Even if it's nothing more than sit it in the living room and stare at it. There's something about certain bikes that you just are going to suffer if you sell it. Particularly if you got it paid off. If you got a bike paid off, there's no real pressure to sell it. It's easy to preserve a bike. Many people don't understand this, but just drain the gas out of it, clean the gas out of the carburetors, and it'll sit there for a long time until you're ready to ride it again. So, first piece of advice is, think twice about selling your first bike or your second bike or the bike you really love. Because when you get older and more experience, you're going to wish you still had it. You know, second most important thing is you must take care of your motorcycle. Don't park it out in the rain. Don't let, the oil changes slide. Keep your maintenance up. And if you can do the maintenance yourself, do it yourself. Don't take it to the shop. Now, why? When you do your own maintenance, you begin to form a relationship with your bike, and you know your bike. You know that the oil is needed a change. You know that back tire is getting bald, is going to need a new tire. You know them sprockets and chain are about at their limits. You know your bike more intimately. It isn't a car. We take our cars into the shop and say, here, fix it. We get it and drive off. We don't really care what the hell they did. A motorcycle's different. You need to know your motorcycle, and the best way to get to know your motorcycle is do your own maintenance. Next thing that's very important is never stop improving your riding skills. Now, hopefully, if you're a beginning rider, you've made arrangements to go take the MSF course. Well, they have extra courses as well. The first MSF course is your basic course. But there's nothing that says you can't go back in a few years and take their more advanced rider courses. Also, it doesn't hurt to go out in an empty parking lot and practice what you've learned at the MSF course. Skills not used get rusty. And there's plenty of people you can see riding who do not have the skills they need. They can't turn a U-turn on the street. They have to paddle walk their bike around in a parking spot. You shouldn't have to be doing things like that. They may have close calls. This is all from not practicing, not improving your skills. So constantly be thinking about, how can I improve my skill? Another thing you're going to find out after you've ridden for a while is you think about the ride. You think you're going to have rides that you are very memorable. And what you find out is the rides that are the worst. You've had a rainstorm, or you rode through rain all the day, or you had a flat tire, or you broke down. Those are the rides you're going to remember the most. The perfect ride, the beautiful sunshiny day, and the bike ran perfect, and you got home, and it was just nothing to it. You're not going to remember those rides. But the rides where you've had challenges, you're going to remember those, and they'll be some of your best memories. Because of that, it's important that you try to be present whenever you're riding your motorcycle. You never know when you're going to have one of those memorable rides, and if you're out there daydreaming or listening to the radio or watching a podcast while you drive, well, you're just not in the moment. In a way, I don't even support the use of cardos or listening to music on your bike. The music you should be listening to is the sound of your engine and the wind going by. It's important to be present. Like the saying goes, you have to be present to win. Well, that's a good point on a motorcycle. You have to be present to win. Closely related to this subject is the concept of flow. Now, many people don't know this, but there have been several studies that riding a motorcycle is very close akin to meditation. The need to focus to ride is very similar to the focus that you have in meditation. Meditation creates a state of flow. In other words, you're very present in the moment, your mind clears, and your body relaxes mentally. This is well documented. There's many studies about motorcycle riding and how it generates this relaxation through focus. One day you're going to go out for a long ride. You're going to come home. You're going to take off your helmet. You're going to sit in the chair and you're going to think, man, I am really mellowed out. And you're going to feel relaxed. Your mind's going to be clear. The world's going to seem a lot better than it was when you first got on the bike. What you've experienced is something called flow. It's almost addictive. It's one of the great things about riding a motorcycle that many of us enjoy. Another important point about motorcycling is you can't ride someone else's motorcycle for them. You have to ride your own ride. And you're going to see people out there as you gain experience doing stuff that is just plain out stupid. Going too fast, passing around blind corners, you name it. The important thing to remember is you got to ride your ride, not their ride. If you're the guy at the very tail end, don't think you've got to ride so fast as the other guys. You've got to ride your own motorcycle, and you can't ride their motorcycle for them. In other words, you can't tell them to slow down. It just doesn't work that way. As you gain more experience as a rider, you're going to realize there are times and places you want to avoid. You don't want to be on a motorcycle in 6 p.m. rush hour traffic. You don't want to ride downtown. You don't want to ride in highly congested areas or where there's lots of bars and there's people out, going home from the bars and they're all loaded. So you can't ride. You can't ride for the other guy. You can't drive someone else's car for him. All you can do is what you can do. All you have control over is yourself and your bike. So most importantly, in the end, the whole idea behind motorcycling is to have fun. So don't forget to have fun. Don't forget to enjoy every minute you're on your bike. Enjoy the beautiful scenery. Enjoy the camaraderie of your friends that you ride with. Enjoy the events that you go to. And be present. If you're gonna be riding a motorcycle, take the time to remember the good times and the enjoyment. And when you get that 57 years of riding experience, you're going to look back on it and you're going to say, wow, that was a great life. So until next time, my friends, y'all ride safe, and I'll see you on the road.